Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
All right, we're back. This is the CSRN podcast, a weekend review where we come to you live from my branch library. And shout out to Kevin, who's the branch manager, and everybody that always lays out the red, black, and green carpet. Hey, let's get into some intros, and then I'll pass it to you for your intro, and then our mission statement. We're going to come back with our guests. We got an awesome lineup today. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril being also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo. And I think that we're going into our 11th year. And I know you're going to talk about it in our mission statement, but I just want to say it was Jabril and Mike that had the idea of Community Solidarity Day. And then they contacted me to ask if I can help them plan a couple of things. And here we are, Jody.
Yep.
We've done a lot. We've seen a lot. And what am I wearing? Today I have on I guess it's kind of lavender. You're not going to say, well, it's kind of a light purple. Well, it's a lavender shirt, I guess. I've got my purple and black beads, my black hat. I've got my glasses from Optical and Twix in between. So if you know my sister, Christian Moncrief, she has the Optical van, and she's located at the corners of Bancroft and Franklin. Hey, just call her up, make an appointment, and get some glasses. Not like mine, so don't try to do that, but get some glasses. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. And we're doing this for the protest culture and the activist community, because we never had a platform where we didn't have to do what I call the slave disclaimer. That's when you apologize for what you're going to say before you say it. So we don't have to do that here. I think that I've got through all my introductions and what I'm wearing. Hey, let's get on with you and get right to our mission statement and then our guests.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer of this wonderful organization. And as Brother Washington said, has been going on for 11 years, marches and protests and organizing and doing stuff with civil servants. We got a forum coming up.
Yeah.
In a little over a month, hopefully looking towards the end of October. So
wow, it's September already.
Okay. Happy Labor Day to everybody out there that might have celebrated. Mm-hmm. If you are in the workforce or anything like that. I actually enjoyed my first vacation in like 15 years and stuff, but I did see everything going around the country and the remnants of Note Kings and all the other stuff. But shout out to our civil servants and laborers that do the stuff that make everything run. I mean, you can have billionaires and all that stuff, but if there's nobody there to fix the pipe or the structure or to cut the grass, then, everything just looks unkept, I guess you could say, or gets out of chaos. One thing is humans and stuff don't like things getting out of chaos of us. So appreciate all of you out there that do the good work in the community and are mostly never seen. Have you ever said, hey, to you garbage man? See, stuff like that, but the work still gets done. Okay. Shout out to the people out at Libby Glass, who I believe from the last time I was checking online are still striking. So, keep up the good fight, get them wages, get paid what you're supposed to. Billionaires can make all this money and then still treat us like crap, glass, all that stuff. But as Brother Washington was saying, how do you condense 11 years of doing all this stuff into meeting people and having people come up to you like, yeah, you're that guy. And like, who, where? Looking for somebody, and I'm holding a sign.
Yeah.
But Like you said, we got a lot of awesome guests, and we want to thank you for tuning in each and every single weekend, because we know you could be any place else in the world, but you chose to be with us on this Tuesday afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, depending on where you are. And that's why we describe ourselves, because we don't want you to see all this background stuff, think it's CGI or we didn't actually live it. So we describe ourselves because we know we're on Spotify and all that stuff. So I'm a big brown bear of a man that's covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts from doing this for the last 11 years and more behind the scenes, but actually coming public to do that and collect people and stuff like that. I am wearing a In Plants We Trust shirt from Sonia Organics. My hat is the reverse logo, which he couldn't figure out.
I couldn't figure that out.
But
man.
yeah, for those
you shouldn't even tried that with me, but it's all good.
Or followed me since I released my clothing and stuff. The ink and the truth are inverted colors. I'm wearing a gray rim instead of the red that's always been on. And that's just, some of the accoutrements and stuff like that. I got some glasses over here from Effortless. Shout out to all of them that's doing the every Thursday professional mixer and network meeting at Toll House here in Toledo. It's a great thing. It's not just you come, you give your business card, you stand in a circle. No, we talk about things like how to pitch for a CEO, how to pitch if you need supplies, if you're doing arts degrees and stuff like that. The real meat of beyond, hi, can I sell you something? But either way, this is how you get through that minutia. You must meet somebody or see an organization that has a mission statement
and guiding principles. But today
we're just doing the mission statement.
Yeah.
So you're getting the bare bones.
All right, that's right.
You don't get the plaster and the wiring and the water and
that's right.
all that stuff. You got to build it yourself. But this is just some of the bricks that we brought back with us as we traveled to Cleveland and DC and New York and Columbus and places like that, fighting for, unfortunately, the same things we're still fighting for. But we are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, provoked, attacked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to, we utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. And justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
And if you didn't know, I guess we're on that camera right there, but it was all right. Hey, all right.
You can kind of see our special guest, although the sun is kind of beaming on him.
I didn't think we were going to do the hey everybody thing, but hey, look, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. Let's see if we can get the camera right, Jody. Why is the camera still on B camera? Hey, let's put it right here. We're back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live. And today, look, we have a tradition. You're almost family now. Hey, one more visit and you'll be family.
Okay.
And we always ask who you are, what are you wearing, and what are we talking about today? So who are you? What are you wearing? And what are we talking about today?
My name is Quinn Griffin. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist for the Black Mental Health Corporation. We are originally out of Cleveland, but we're opening a satellite office in Toledo. Today I'm wearing a brown dress and a knit sweater of multicolors, like a taupe, a yellow, a beige.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So when did you get involved with the Black Mental Health Corporation, and how have things been going so far?
Okay, so I got involved with them in April of this year, and I was on once, and I was just really getting started. And so we just had maybe just a couple of things completed. Now that I'm in the community, I'm very happy to admit that I have attended the Omega Sci-Fi Community Health and Wellness Fair, the Sky High School Alumni Picnic.
Okay.
Participated in that. We are now partnering with the Lucas County Juvenile Detention Center and Youth Program. And we're also affiliated with the Boys and Girls Club of Northwest Ohio and Ross College.
And I think I recently saw you at the, it was a end of gun violence
Yes.
rally in March, and I saw the table out. You actually had friends with you.
Absolutely.
You guys have a nice setup with the stand-up banner and the tablecloth and the literature. Since the last time we've been together, how have you been received so far?
I've been received very well, and I'm really excited to say that after a little bit of pushing through,
Right.
that the community has really opened up.
And there's a lot of stigma attached to mental health, and particularly I know in our community and in my family. How do you see Black mental health and getting those services create more awareness in the community?
I see mental health as something that's not always for a crisis moment, and that's what we're really trying to promote, that therapy and counseling is not just for a crisis. You can be in college. It can be useful to you to help you with studying and tapping a wide variety of resources. You can also just be a parent in a relationship, or a single mother, a single father. There are various resources that are here to help, and therapy and talk counseling is always something that can give you a third person point of view.
Right.
A young lady came up and said, "Hey, your counselors are teletherapy and they're all in Cleveland, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, Toledo's pretty small." That's awesome. That I can speak with someone and absolutely know that it's not going to be so and so's friend of a friend of a
Yeah,
friend.
and I've heard that from many people that, and there's a lot of awesome therapists out here. However, there's some people that may want to be a bit more private. So if my therapist is, if it's telehealth and they're outside of Toledo, even though all therapists and counselors uphold the confidentiality,
Yes.
but having that extra layer of confidentiality and privacy is important too. Also, what about the ages of those who want to look into being served by the Black Mental Health Corporation? What ages do you serve?
So right now, we're everyone from probably, I would say 5th, 6th grade, because it is teletherapy.
Okay.
So they need to be a little more mature, all the way to senior citizens. Seniors have depression, kids have depression. There's a lot going on these days, and it can affect our children in ways that we both see and understand.
Right.
And then in ways that we kind of didn't even know that they picked up on. So we service from that age group, from about 5th, 6th grade, all the way to senior citizens.
I wanted to pick up on something you said earlier about you wanted to have an impact before the crisis.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you think lead up to a crisis? What are some of the things that people need to be looking for in their own emotional stability to know if a loved one or them themselves are about to have a crisis?
I think that sometimes we underestimate how much real life takes a toll on us. When you speak to a therapist or when you're in that line of work, I myself had to learn this, that moving is a major event in one's life. Changing jobs is a major event. Kids to school, starting a life with a new partner. Everything can be going great, but there can be times when, all of those changes can hit us and we just kind of push through. Where sometimes if we would take a step back, if we had access to something that was affordable, something that was convenient, like teletherapy, something that had therapists that look like, yourself, so you feel a little more comfortable, that we can utilize that resource a little bit more to overcome some things that might pop up later in a more destructive way. Going to college and being the first college student out of your family is a wonderful thing. And there's a lot of support when you graduate. As you get into the thick of it, and there are papers due, there may be children, and you're learning to time manage, you're learning that it takes a lot of extra time, that people give you time to go to school. They really don't give you time to study. And so as you're, working through all of those hurdles, different classes, and the level of expectation of college at any level or for anything, it would be nice to have someone to talk to. And that's where we can hit those crisis moments, give you tools to work through those moments. In the community, as we were at the gun violence, things that happen in the community can really affect us and our kids. As a side note, the young lady that was unfortunately murdered by her father, I think there was a lot of abuse going on there. It's a big story in Toledo. My son just happened to pull me aside and say, that was deep, and I'm really shaken by that. As many people would be, but him being on the younger side, I thought it would have, caught his attention and moved on. It didn't. It really, he wanted to talk about it. And we have a lot of children who are experiencing death through friends, through classmates, family. And so, yes, there's counseling at school.
Okay.
Yes, there are things to talk about, but having a counselor is something that can really help.
All right. On the website, Black Mental, is it blackmentalhealthcorporation.com?
Yes.
Okay. And soon after this interview, Jody's going to put it in the thing where I'll scroll underneath. Hey, good tech, it's hard to find. All right. So for you, what do you do for self-care? I mean, you're talking about it. So for everybody that's watching it, all right. So what is it that you do? And then our last final question is if you can list 3 things that you're grateful for. So let's get into your self-care.
Okay.
All right. What is it that you do?
My self-care is really meditating, and meditating takes a lot of different forms. I don't want people to imagine me, sitting in my living room,
Okay.
No,
Yeah. All right.
Washing my car is very meditating, listening to music. Anytime that you can just let your brain go, just let it take a rest and just do what you're doing. Maybe focusing on just that,
Okay.
or focusing on I'm just out of it. I know how to do this. It's routine, and I'm just taking a minute to do it. We do it a lot while we're driving, which isn't the best.
True.
But that is my self-care, just taking a moment and giving myself some brain downtime.
And 3 things that you're grateful for. What would your 3 be?
3 things I'm grateful for is, of course, you guys, I was ecstatic for the first interview, being able to touch the community and really get out there. I am appreciative that I always say friends, family, spirit. That is very important to me. And the last one is recognizing growth. Sometimes we're so in the mix and we're so busy thugging it out that we never really look back at ourselves and say, wow, I've really grown since then. And you need to give yourself a pat on the back sometimes.
That's right. I never thought about it like that. Jody, you need to give me a pat on the back sometime.
Oh.
All right. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just like that, I made it about me. All right. All right. Hey, would you be willing to come back and share some of the other? You've been to a lot of events. All right.
I'm out there.
All right. Would you be willing to come back and share some of the events that you've gone to and some of those responses with us? All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Quinn. Hey, we're going to take a short break and we're going to be right back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important And we have to not only say it, but we have to live it. We have to breathe it. We have to do it. We have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, I would say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
Shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, and we have a dynamite show today. And shout out to the Black Mental Health Corporation. Let me scroll their website right below us. So, if you're watching us, just look right there and you'll see the blackmentalhealthcorporation.com. Go ahead, log on. See some of the services that they have to offer. They got Quinn Griffin here in Toledo, so you can hit her up on her socials. All right, and make it happen. This work is hard. Just life in is hard, and you shouldn't have to life alone. Hey, we could be using that somewhere, Jody. Right. As we always do whenever we have a guest or family, more family right now, we always ask who you are. What are you wearing? Because that's a sharp shirt. And what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so my name's Daniel Ortiz. This is my, 6th, 7th, 8th time on the show.
We might have to get you one of those jackets like Saturday Night Live.
I agree.
Yeah, get six-timer.
Daniel Ortiz. I guess I'm here today as the executive director of Lucas County Democratic Party. I'm also the treasurer of the party right now, and I am wearing a brown shirt that says Old West End and kind of like a old school, like vintage font with a bunch of different colors on. So, and I've got my blue and tan glasses that I got from the eye doctor. Not as cool as yours.
Oh, okay.
I might have to go to Optigo next time.
Optigo, that's right. And just by saying that, we might be eligible for 20 to 25% off. All right.
I'm gonna ask.
Just might be. All right. All right. Okay. Now, when you said you're opening, I think that we had you logged in as the treasurer of the Lucas County Dems, but also you're going to be
the executive director.
Okay.
I have been for the last 6 months ish.
Okay. All right. We had no idea that we were talking to one of the movers and shakers. Jody, you should have told me so I could get it.
Isn't that why I'm on?
I could have got pre-nervous. All right. All right. So last week? There was the Resistance Fair.
Yep. Yeah, that's Saturday at UAW Local 12.
And that was for those of us that participate in grassroots organizing and, maybe on the fringe like me, to have an event like that where I saw all of the troublemakers, all of the rabble-rousers, all right, all under one roof, and people could walk to the tables and grab information. How did that come to be? Because I've never seen anything like that.
So initial idea came from, there's actually a group that did this out in Cleveland. I think it's actually in Cleveland Heights that this was like very shortly after the previous election, maybe very early this year. And so when we saw that, we knew we wanted to do something similar. And like you said, basically we opened up the space to anybody who does kind of grassroots organizing.
Yeah.
It was out in the community. It could have been anything really. And we had a really great, diverse group of people there. And it just kind of showed, like, we're showing, like, this is kind of like the big tent, as they say, right? Because there were people who, I mean, from all over.
And that was true, because usually whenever somebody does the big tent thing, we're never invited.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we know because the big tent is a mansion in Ottawa Hills or something like that. So we're never invited. But that was kind of a paradigm shift for wanting people to be a part of the system, or the solution rather. Register to vote and know the issues, to include people like CSRN and others. You know, that was unlike anything that I've ever saw. What was your take on the event, and what did you get out of it?
I thought it went really well. Obviously, like, kind of helping put on the event and working on it, I see it through a different frame, as like we were just trying to like make sure everything went smoothly. But when I could like pause and take a look around and walk around to every table, I just saw like all these great organizations that sort of like over the last 5 years that I've sort of been involved in this space, is like all the people that I've gotten to know over the years, right? So we had American Muslims for Palestine, we had Equality Toledo, we had Moms Demand Action, we had Pastor Mike from Salem Lutheran Church was there speaking. Jody did a performance, some spoken word for us. It was really great. Lori King from Toledo Free Press was there recording her podcast. Like, it was just great to like all be under one roof and know that like we're all everyone here is like pushing in the same direction, right? We all maybe have disagreements on how we get there, tactics, things like that, but like we know kind of where we want to go. And for me, one thing, like as I've gotten more involved with the party, one thing I wanted to change is I want the Lucas County Democratic Party to be more involved in the community at large and not just tied to elections. So we wanted to do something like that, but also we want to be more present at other community events that we aren't putting on, and just like, hey, we're here, we're the Democratic Party, not, hey, we're here, here's who you need to vote for, or give us money or anything like that. Just sort of trying to like become more of a fixture in the community, and so that people can get to know us and our candidates and our elected officials. Well,
Being on the outside looking in, it does create a different feel. Because I understand regarding the Lucas County Democrats, not the young Dems. I remember the young Dems and the young Black Dems. That was different. But some of the older ones, they will just come out during election time and not reach out to some of the organizations that are really making a difference. All right, so we got an election coming up.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you think the voters should be aware of?
So one thing before we move on to that, I just want to say that the biggest reason for this paradigm shift with the party is our chair, Skylar Beckwith, who is a younger person. I think we're trying to like bring in like a new generation of leadership. And we've got a lot of the mentors that have been, part of leadership in the past, like helping this new group, but like, we do have like a vision of like getting younger and moving more into the future. So I just wanted to shout her out because she's doing a really great job.
Jody, do you know Skylar? Oh, okay. He didn't tell. All right. Okay. All right.
She should come on the show sometime and talk more about that. But so
I think that's the key.
Yeah.
For politics in itself. Those of us that are older, we ran our race. All right, and it's time for a different type of thinking. In the event, I think last week, kind of represented that.
Yeah. So election coming up. Well, first, I think Oregon and Maumee have primaries very soon, like within the next week or so. but those are a lot smaller races even this year than years past. I guess it's just a sort of a trend that's happened all over the county where we just haven't had that many people file to run. So like what I can tell you about today is in November, we have our big Toledo elections. This is Toledo City Council at large. All 6 seats are up, and then the mayor. And, when I ran and when I first met both of you 4 years ago now, we had 22 people file and 20 made it on the ballot. And 19 of them, one person dropped out. So there were 19 people you could select. We had a primary. You could vote for 6 out of 19 people. And this year, only 12 people filed. So there wasn't even a primary. So it's been pretty awkward. Like there was no primary, and now everyone's just going with their campaigns and everything. So yeah, Toledo City Council, you can vote for 6 people. There are 12 on the ballot. If you go to lucascountydemocraticparty.com, you can see our endorsed candidates. That's obviously who I'm supporting, but there are 12 total. And then we have Mayor Wade up for re-election. He's our endorsed candidate. We have 3 Toledo City School Board members. They're the only 3 people that even filed. So
yeah.
I don't know what that's about, honestly.
Well, I'll tell you what it's about. Between the last 2 elections, there's been a loss of interest.
Yeah.
In politics, because it's as if we already know what's going to happen, and those types of things happen. Mm-hmm. So here's what can happen with the younger leadership and younger people running for these offices that are different types of candidates, different types of leadership. I think that most likely people are going to start feeling that they're heard again.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm talking to you right now is different. This is the first time that we've ever had the head of Lucas County Democrats here, with us. It's always somebody, maybe down the line, but this is the first that's happened, and people might start believing that registering to vote can make a difference again. So I think that you might see a shift in people being interested now.
Yeah, well, I just want to clarify, the chair is the top of the party, Skylar Beckwith. She's at the top, but I know what you mean. And when I came here before, I was trying to be that younger candidate that, running from the outside, and I thought we would see more of that. That was sort of some of the message that I pushed, was like, we just need more people to run, because even now, like as a party insider, like we are short on candidates. Like people ask who's going to run for this, who's going to run for that. Sometimes like we don't even know. No. And so, I encourage anybody to run for office. And that's, ever since I've had any sort of like public persona, since that first time I ran, like, you can reach out to me anytime about running. And there's a lot of people who, they say they want to change this, they want to change that. And I'm like, well, why don't you run? What about you? And they're like, oh, well, I couldn't run. It's like, you definitely could.
No, because
I'm going to tell you could.
We seen you do it.
Yeah.
We seen you do it well. So, and that's what we need. And I really think that with the Democrat Party, with this shift in who you're interested in collaborating with, who you're interested in checking out in the community, that makes people start believing that it's different. So, all right. So I know we talked with Quinn regarding self-care.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a heavy lift having the candidates that's running and the mayoral race coming up, and you're going to be busy. What do you do for self-care?
I really like riding my bike, and I've seen you and your wife out riding bikes in the neighborhood too. That's been the big thing for me over this weekend. I went on my longest ride of the year, 36 miles, and that's good. Like Quinn said, like just clear your head, just shut it off and just pedal the bike, and I really enjoy doing that. So that's my main way of self-care. Other than that, just sitting on the couch with my wife, watching TV, watching a movie, something like that.
All right. Well, since you said that, what are you streaming?
Well, right now we are rewatching Parks and Rec, which is funny given what I do for a living.
Okay.
I hadn't watched that show in a long time, so to rewatch it through the lens of being involved in local politics is pretty funny because they get a lot. There's a lot of it right, and there's a lot of times I'll be at some sort of meeting and I'll text my wife like I'm living a Parks and Rec episode right now.
That's what's up.
So that we're watching that. I think we're gonna dive into the new season of The Last of Us after we catch up with rewatching Parks and Rec.
Isn't that the one where they have a lawsuit?
No, it's the zombie one. Like there's the virus that like wipes out humanity, and it's like the Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
Yeah,
Oh, so there's it ends with us.
Yeah.
And the last.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now I'm caught up.
Right.
All right. So last thing, we're big on gratitude here at CSRN, and that's thanks to Anika Fields for bringing the empowerment toolbox and talking about that with us. 3 things that you're grateful for, Daniel. What will those be?
I'm grateful for my wife and the house and the life that we have together. I'm grateful for friends and just like a great community around me. I turned 34 this year, and it's a lot of people my age don't have as many like long-standing friends as I do. Like most of the people in my life have been close with me since like high school or early 20s. So like to still be so close knit with my community is great. And then the third thing is like I'm grateful that I ran for city council and lost, but to still be in this space and still at any time like you text me and say come on the podcast to talk about this stuff, but it happens all the time where some random person that I haven't talked to in a long time or someone that I might not even know will like message me on Instagram and be like, hey, what's the deal with this issue, or who is this candidate or whatever, and I tell them what I think about it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty rewarding to like sort of put in that work and have people trust that I can help them out with that kind of stuff. So, and especially, the main thing is to, again, if you want to run for office, like let me know, because when I ran the first time, I didn't even know like how to get on the ballot, like about gathering signatures and all that stuff. And someone put me onto that. And so I want to be that resource for people. And yes, I am like part of Democratic Party leadership. So we might get to a point where we have endorsements or whatever, but up until that point, I am happy to help you get on the ballot. I'll sign your petition. I'll do whatever. So, please just reach out to me.
All right. So would you be willing to come back?
Yes.
Because especially since we are in the process of planning our CSRN candidates forum.
Yeah, I need to make sure all my candidates come to that.
And we're planning that. Jody said mid to late October. We're looking at the new Wayman Palmer right now as a location and putting everything together. But we're gonna have to do something really. We're gonna have to move forward on that in order to let you know. And would you be willing to come back and really just talk about how things are going so far, and hopefully bring in a little bit more trust back into this system of being involved in our community through registering to vote and knowing what the issues are.
Of course, yeah. I'm always really happy to come on. I really appreciate you giving me the platform, and I love the opportunity to come into this beautiful space. And I love that every time I come here, the technology goes up like one level.
Yeah.
Like from the first time I was on to now, we've got multiple cameras.
Well, that's because Jody will open up the bank account. All right, but we only got 2 bottles of water.
Yeah.
How does that even make sense?
Three guests and 2 bottles of water.
How does that?
Okay. We'll get there.
All right.
There'll be 3 next time I come, I'm sure.
All right. I'm sure. All right. Well, fingers crossed on that. All right. And we'll just edit that all out because I don't like talking about Jody, at least not on the air. Hey, family. All right. Hey, we're going to take a short break and come back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
If you can ride a bike without falling, then you're good to go. Bike Rides Matter, it's a community bike group. We get together for fun, fitness, and fellowship. We ride weekly. Right now we got a Tuesday ride where we ride on the UT Trail. We do Saturday right here at Uptown Green. That's our glow roll Saturday night. It was something I was already doing with my daughter, just riding bikes, and we just decided it would be cool to add the community because we were just finding ways to make fun given the situation. Being that everything was closed down and options were limited, bike riding is one of those things you can do without any restrictions.
You get to make new friends and just like interact with people, especially during COVID. You still like have your mask on and stuff, but it's still good to like see people.
It's a cool way to stay fit. We talk while we riding, we got music while we riding. I've met quite a few new friends and new people. I made some real cool connections throughout the city. Take advantage of the time you have. Take advantage of this pandemic. I know it's a lot of restrictions, but you can be creative and find new ways to have fun, one of which is this right here.
All right. Hey, the technology worked that time. Normally when we come back, there's another camera on or camera. I don't know. How did we get that camera? So, hey, family, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. And big shout out to Quinn, Griffin. Big shout out to Daniel Ortiz, who serves as the treasurer and soon to be the executive director. So he's getting... I was going to say 2 checks. No, he's wearing 2 hats. See, Jody, you need to stop me before I say the wrong thing. All right. Hey, but we're back. We're talking about justice for Palestine, and we have a dynamite guest today. So as CSRN tradition may have it, who are you? What are you wearing? And what are we talking about today?
So my name is Walat Kanan. I'm wearing all black outfit wise. Up here, I'm wearing a pink hijab. And I'm wearing my jewelry, repping Palestine. I have a heart necklace that says Free Palestine in Arabic on it. I have a Palestine map, and then I have the sliced watermelon, which is a symbol of Palestinian resistance. So we're here today to talk about Palestine, as well as kind of some local advocacy efforts for Palestine. I am a part of an organization, the Toledo chapter of American Muslims for Palestine. So yeah.
All right. So I wanted to talk about the American Muslims for Palestine. And I've been a part of the movement work and activism. And this probably is the highest that I've seen the awareness, because sometimes in the past, we may say something critical to the state of Israel, and then somebody will get their wrist tapped and then it goes away. Mm-hmm. All right. The same thing with Black Lives Matter. We would there would be an activity, and they'll hire a reverend to come in and tell us to settle down, go home, pray on it, and people would actually go home. I'm like, hey, where are you guys going? All right. So just as Black Lives Matter, that hasn't gone away. Being able to protest and have follow-up questions for our politicians have not gone away, nor is the awareness on what's happening in Palestine has gone away. It has not let up. Why do you think that?
So first and foremost, I think that we are living in can't even think of the word, but a crazy time in history. We are witnessing the first to this level live stream genocide. Genocide is not a new thing in this world, but what is new is social media and access to this connection across the globe. So we are witnessing a live stream genocide in which the victims of this genocide are reporting what's happening to them in hopes that the world will care and intervene. So we are at almost 2 years now, And every time we think that we have seen it all, that we have seen the levels of vile that could possibly exist that like a human brain can fathom, we wake up the next day and we witness something worse. And I think that public narrative is changing. I think to your point, I think there has been a lot of fear about speaking out about Palestine in the past and things like that. But I think that we are getting louder and we are getting stronger. And I think that actually now we are facing even more repression than in the past. But I think that is because we are winning, right? I think as public narrative is shifting, I think that the other side becomes more vile. We are witnessing that in Palestine, and we are witnessing that here in the diaspora. We're witnessing that in Palestine in the escalated violence and use of forced starvation as a war crime and attempting to control people and engage in collective punishment. But then, we are also witnessing that here in as repression of activists, people trying to attack people, come for their jobs, try to shame and slander them. But it's kind of funny to me because I'm like, if they're, people are like, oh, don't speak out about Palestine, you'll end up on some hit list. And it's like, if there's a hit list of people who stand against genocide, I'm happy to be on that list. That is okay with me.
And you're in good company, you know, and sometimes that lets you know where your comrades are. You know, I want to be in that room with Jody. All right. Yeah. Those who don't like Jody, cool. I'm going to pick that. I'm going to pick that room to be in. And also, I think that there's different voices now that are making sense of this. Normally, there will be it's as if there will be some type of mass statement that they send out for everybody to say. And no one's there. We're not doing that anymore. Okay. We're telling the truth. And it could be someone as old as I am. And I think that Black men in their 60s, we're not cut out for talking about this like this because a lot of us have been told a different story. And a lot of us older people will hold on to that story or not say anything. But now I've always talked about it, but I'm glad to see other men my age are willing to dive in and say what you saw. You know, if it was a hospital that was bombed, if it was journalists, how are they going to continue reporting when the journalists are being killed? Right. Absolutely. How are we going to continue remaining silent when the International Criminal Court is being sanctioned? You know, that make sense. Yeah. So, I think the gig is up on the whole narrative of how it used to be and how it is now. And yes, they're losing, even though they have all the television stations. They have all the manpower and all of the ways that they can get it out to media, but it's not working anymore. The fact that you and I are here talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not
working.
working.
I think there's so many, I guess, cracks in their stories and in their propaganda. It's starting to just not even make sense, even if you are somebody who is not majorly educated on the issue. The way that they attempt to repress us is through blackmail, threatening, and things that are just kind of under the table and messy. It's never that they are coming out and saying something that is actually factually undermining what we are saying. And I think that when people feel the need to use those tactics, it's because they are standing on the wrong side of history.
And I was a part of a conversation last week, and I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, where what you're saying is so far from what you're accusing this guy of, or that it doesn't even connect anymore. Maybe those things never connected. We're just asking questions now.
Yeah.
So I see that happening more and more, and it's a pitiful act of trying to get your lie across, and it's not working. But so I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we were able to talk about that. And also there's some things that's going on at home that I also like. I had an opportunity to be with you. I think a couple of weeks ago, but I couldn't make one. I always say I will put a big cardboard cutout of myself at my desk at work and then leave out.
And leave.
Yeah, but I wasn't able to do that this time, but maybe the next. What was going on with the at the Lucas County commissioners, and why do you think that's something that everybody needs to know?
Yeah. So the only foreign nation that Lucas County has investments in is the state of Israel. So initially, that should be a red flag for everyone, I think. Those are our tax dollars that are being used to invest in Israel bonds, being used to invest in a country that is actively committing a genocide. So that should be alarming to us all. And so basically what happened, it was Friday, August 22nd, so like 2 Fridays ago. The bond, it's about $5 million, and it is only about like 1 to 2% of the investment profile of Lucas County. But to us, any penny invested in genocide in our name is not okay.
Right.
So what we did is we showed up at the commissioners meeting, or the advisory board meeting for the treasurer, to demand that they make a formal commitment to not reinvest when this investment, what we call like matures, and actually is not up for maturation until like December of 2026.
Right.
But we are like, now, as this is happening, we are demanding that you make formal commitments to not continue to invest in this. So yeah, some questions arise of, why did you guys show up to this meeting? Why don't you guys wait till next year? Whatever.
Right.
Our people are being murdered today. Our people are being slaughtered today. And we, as a community, are not okay with our tax dollars contributing to this. And so what happened on Friday, I consider it a small win. So basically the advisory board for the treasurer, who's Lindsay Webb, voted advising her to not reinvest in this bond that is going to mature in December of 2026. So that was a win, because I think it's unprecedented that this would even be on an agenda or even discussed in a commissioner's meeting in Lucas County like a couple years ago.
Right, true.
This was simply an advice that they gave her via their vote. So she now has the option to listen to them or to not listen to them. And as it currently stands, Lindsay Webb feels as though the return on investment is good enough that it is okay to look past the fact that we are investing in genocide. And I think it's important that everyone in our community knows this. These are the people we put in office. It is our duty to hold them accountable for not putting us at risk of, as a county, being complicit in supporting a genocide. And it's also up to them to hear their people. So the people who put them in office. So the argument that she attempted to make to our faces was that her job is to deal with the finances of the county. Her job is not to do things, she said, relating to kind of ethics or politics. But the reason Lucas County originally invested in Israel bonds was because Israel lobbyists came to Lucas County and asked them to do so. So it has always been a political stance. And people attempt to gaslight us and tell us, no, it's just about finance, yada, yada, yada. Why is Israel the only foreign nation we're invested in? Why are we refusing? Also, I'm no finance bro, but the Israel bond. So there are ratings for bonds, like ratings of like what their return on investment is, that kind of thing. And in the past 2 years, they have actually been like come down 2 notches of what their rating is, Israel bonds. So it's not a good investment. It is actively contributing to genocide, and your community is asking you to stop funding it and stop contributing to this. And then the response we get is like, well, I have to think about it and yada, yada, yada. So yeah, I think it's important that everyone in our community knows that this is happening, and everyone in our community understands that your elected officials work for you. So reach out to them today. Tell them that you don't stand for this.
Right. So, and how can, outside of that, how else can the public be of service? How can they be more active in this cause?
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, education is very important. I think that, in the age of information, we are also, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because we have so much information, but we also have so little information because of this, TikTok and it's 3 seconds and scrolling. Yeah. So I think educating yourself is important. I think that amplifying Palestinian voices. I think so many people like to kind of inject and insert themselves and have an opinion about something that doesn't involve them. So when we are talking about a native people being ethnically cleansed from their land, it is your duty as an ally to show up and listen to what it is they want you to do and then do that, rather than you coming up with some solution because you just, feel like you're so smart and you know how the world should work. So amplifying Palestinian voices. Also, we do have weekly protests in Toledo, and we also have educational events, and we also will come to you. So if you have a church, if you have a club, if you got 15 friends and you want us to come meet you at the library and give you a presentation, we will. So we have events that we advertise, but we also are willing to come to you. So I like to always share that with people, that we can come to you, your group, your club, your organization, and teach you about kind of basic history as well as kind of the current events. I also think that bear witnessing is important. So when I say that an active genocide has been taking place since October of 2023, this sometimes I think that we fall, even those of us who care, I think that we fall into dehumanizing our people because we look at this as just like, like an issue, like I'm passionate about this issue and this issue and this issue, and Palestine is one of them. I think that in some ways that dehumanizes our people. So I think there's a lack of recognition that we've been here since 6 o'clock. Now it's 7 o'clock. Actively, as we are sitting here, there are people in Palestine being murdered, funded by our tax dollars. We need to understand that we need to have a more grander sense of moral urgency to act now because lives are quite literally depending on it. I think a lot of times people are like, yeah, I support the cause. That's so cool that you guys are doing that. But there's not an understanding that we are in a state of emergency. And I think that is so important. Understanding that you're in a state of emergency, looking into where your tax dollars go at the city level, at the county level, at the state level, at a national level, and having conversations with people, not letting people forget what is happening in Palestine, holding your elected officials accountable, and then also looking into what we can do outside of the system. So outside of the system looks like making donations to mutual aid funds. Outside of the system looks like looking into your local port authorities and looking into shipments of weapons manufacturing. Can we show up in those places and protest? I guess my biggest advice is escalate your efforts for Gaza. It's not enough to, once every couple months so that you can pass the vibe check and not get canceled, say, I support Palestine, that's cool. Again, we need to understand that we are in a state of emergency.
That's right. And it's much more than just the theatrics and the performing of those on the outside. And I'm positive that the more we keep pushing, the more people will see that it's not just a trend. All right. This is our lives. We do this. So for those that's outside of our movement work that will say, well, Brother Washington, you know what you guys should do? No. All right. No.
I know that if you want to help, you can show up.
You can just show up. Just hold this. All right. Stand next to Jody. All right. All right. Within all of this, we talk about, what do you do for self-care? So at the end of the day, at the end of the protest or the rally, okay, what is it that you do to bring it back together, to calm, to rebalance? What is it that you do?
Yeah. So I appreciate the question.
Yeah.
Before answering your question, though, I do want to preface with a few things. So, I think that it is important to recognize that we live in a hyper-individualistic society, and terms like self-care have been hijacked. And I think that a level of selfishness and apathy is being preached. I'm a therapist.
Okay,
but
let's go.
I think that, and I think self-care is important.
Go ahead,
I think
let's talk.
Important.
Let's talk.
But I think that we have as a society, we have turned towards apathy and looking the other way in the face of violence and oppression because I need to take care of myself. And I think that is quite literally the downfall of our society.
Okay, all right, hey, okay. No lies detected, all right? That's what's up. That's what's up.
When we talk about capitalism and we talk about those who are in power, they want us to be so consumed in surviving that we become yes men, that we don't question the things that are happening, that we don't question the violence against our people, that we don't have time to do anything about these things. So I like to preface with that. And I also like to preface that me and my community and our allies have been living with traumatic grief for the past 2 years. And I guess trigger warning for the listeners as well as the people in the room. But just for some perspective, again, because I think sometimes things are so disconnected that it's hard for us to like really see it. My AMP board, it's a small group of us, it's like 7, 8 of us, three of which are people who are from Gaza. I guess I'm just going to share a story of one of my colleagues, my comrades. So she is from Gaza. She has a large group chat of family members who are like in the diaspora as well as in Gaza, in which they send updates on like this and that person's safety and what have you. So just on a regular Tuesday when she's at work, she's receiving updates that such and such person got murdered. Such and such house got bombed, and we're sending people over there to look through the rubble to see who is still alive and who has passed. And she is getting an update of an image of her cousin beheaded while she's at work, and then has to, go on a 10-minute walk and come back and be a person at work. And likewise, I have a really awful habit. I'm really working on this, but I have a really awful habit of picking up my phone and scrolling even in times in which I shouldn't. So once I was at work, I wasn't with a client, but I was talking to a coworker, and just out of habit, we're just kind of having mindless conversation. I pick up my phone and I kind of start scrolling. And again, I see an image of a mutilated child due to bombing, again, that is funding by our tax dollars. And again, I'm supposed to kind of just take a deep breath and then just go act like a regular person for the rest of the day. So these are the realities that our community is dealing with. Just in Toledo alone, we have had over 200 people's family members murdered in the past 2 years. So this is what our community is living with. And I'd like to share that I'm okay with saying this. I am not okay. I pray that I never reach a level of apathy in which I'm going to be okay in the middle of a genocide. I don't want to be okay right now. I think that our humanity, our emotions exist for a reason. When you feel anger, you feel that for a reason. When you feel grief, you feel that for a reason. These emotions fuel us to go out and do what's right. So, all that to say, not dogging you.
No, you good. You good. Hey, look. Let me say this. That's why we have you here.
Yeah. Thank
all
you.
right. We wouldn't have you here if we couldn't get this.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
This is what we want.
Yeah. I will answer your question though, because I do think, yes, it is important for us to figure out how we can preserve ourselves so that we can go out and do this work. That is important. So myself, I think that community is very important. I think that I cleanse my palate of folks, right? Like if you don't understand the genocide is bad, I cannot be around you for longer than 30 minutes. I can't do it.
I got you.
So surrounding myself with great community like this space, being able to have conversations, being able to be open about our emotions, that is a huge thing for me. That is kind of self-care, helps pour into my cup. Because I'm very much an extrovert. I am a therapist for work. I am an activist outside of work. I'm kind of around people all day and talking and doing. So very recently, I have learned that some kind of moments of solitude and away from my phone and away from people, that is helpful for me.
Okay.
Then also movement. I think moving your body, go on a walk, do a stretch, do a couple little jumping jacks, do something, move your body, because we do only have one of these. So you kind of got to take care of it because you're gonna be stuck with it for the rest of your life. So yeah.
Okay. Next. All right. I was going to say, tell us how you really feel. All right. All right. 3 things that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
What will those 3 be?
I guess, again, I will say I'm thankful for community. I'm thankful for my family, my AMP team. We all work very closely with one another, support one another. I'm also grateful to be able to kind of grow and learn. I mean, I always say I've been Palestinian all my life, so I've known about our struggle, but I think learning in an academic sense, learning from other activists. This past weekend, I was just at the People's Conference for Palestine in Detroit. It was amazing. I met so many great people who've been doing a lot of great work. So yeah, I think the opportunity to learn is beautiful. And I think, yeah, I'm also grateful. I guess I'll say for the privileges that we hold. I think sometimes we forget how privileged we are, and we forget that privilege is a responsibility. So yeah, I'm grateful to have the platforms that I do, whether that is influence, whether that is community, whether that is just my physical being. I think all of these things are, blessings from God first and foremost. And I think that sometimes, I think we forget that the only difference between you and I and, a child who is starving to death in Gaza right now is geographical luck, and I think we forget that sometimes.
Teach. All right. Yeah. Well, that's what's up. Hey, would you be willing to come back? Because I know that we're going to have some other events that's going to be coming up real soon. And we want to keep this conversation going the same way. Look, and this is it's an awesome space that we created. And we don't have to have that, here's what we're going to talk about, or here's what we're not going to talk about. If we're not going to talk about it, then why would we have you here? All right?
Absolutely.
So you be willing to
I would love to be back. It's always a pleasure.
That's what's up. Yeah. Hey, listen, we're going to come back with our updates. That's what's up in the community and some of the things that Jody and I and others have been at and what we want you to know. This is the CSRN podcast. All right. Thank you.
Thank
our
you.
Week in Review. We'll be right back.
Audio Jungle.
All right, we are back. Oh, I got Jody now. All right. This is the CSRN podcast, a week in review. I want to just thank all of those who participated in our podcast today. And that's our sister Quinn Griffin from the Black Mental Health Corporation, Daniel Ortiz, the treasurer and executive director. The executive director. That's what he said. All right, both of them. All right, how does he do that? I don't know, but he does it. And our sister Wela Canaan from the students of the American Muslims for Palestine for coming in today and just, hey, letting us know, all right? And she's a comrade. She's family. Hey, listen, we really got to get into our updates right now. I see them flicking the light on and off at Bot Branch Library, as I think they probably would. Jody, has there been some things in the community that you've been at? There's a couple that I know that I've done, but I really wanted to check in with you.
About yours first, and then we'll jump into mine.
All right. I want to start out with this right here. Let me bring up this image. This is the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper, and it says United States war machine threatens Venezuela. And if you've been following the Final Call newspaper for the past couple of weeks, Either we were talking about the strange and unusual weather, and we were talking about the Palestine and what's happening right now. And now we wanted to go to the America now is threatening Venezuela. And this is, I'm going to read a couple of things from the Final Call newspaper. It says concerns of a possible attack on Venezuela are mounting across the Americas as the United States ramps up its military footprint in the southern Caribbean seas with more than 4,000 troops and multiple naval ships, including a nuclear-powered fast attack submarine. While U.S. officials insist the buildup is to confront drug cartels, regional governments and anti-imperialist groups counter that the show of force is directed at Venezuela and its President Nicolas Maduro. So just wanted to let everybody know to get this issue of the Final Call newspaper. Also in this issue of the Final Call newspaper is the 20 years later of the Hurricane Katrina, and we were there for that. I was here for that. That was August 29th of 2005. This was just maybe a couple of months before the Millions More movement. This was the third Million Man March on Washington, D.C., and also this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper is regarding Washington, D.C. residents are protesting the National Guard deployed in that city. And our last paper was what you see over there is being prepared for over here. So for my brothers and sisters that may not have taken what's happening in Gaza serious, like it's not my issue, it doesn't concern me. What you see over there, it's a great chance that it's happening here. So pick up this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper, and shout out to all of the FOI here in the city of Toledo that's out with me every week with the Final Call newspaper. And look for us on Bancroft, Detroit this week. Look for the paper at My Branch Library. Shout out to My Branch Library again. Pick up the paper at Seaway. Pick up the Final Call newspaper at Yummy's, Bobby Howard's, and man, check out Foster's Barbershop. They'll have it too. All right, Jody, I think that's all I wanted to cover for this week. Anything else that I need to cover on Eden Garden, because we're wrapping that up now. Yep. Maybe a couple of more Saturdays, and we can shut the garden down for 2025. Shout out to Sister Yvette Muhammad for making sure that I was out there. All right. I could not get away, Jody. All right. Hey, so let me pass it to you, and then we'll get into 5 minutes of heat, and hey, put another one in the can.
Awesome. As I said, when we open the shore, happy Labor Day to everybody, all of you that could celebrate. And even if you were at work, hopefully you got time and a half. You know, that was the point of Labor Day and all that stuff. Shout out to Imperial Dragon, who's watching us on YouTube. He says, really phenomenal show. So thank you for tuning in and everything like that. So what's updates?
He said he? Like Imperial Dragon. See, that's how we got kicked out the last spot.
I'm looking at the profile picture, which is about that big, and it looks like a guy on. I'm pretty sure it may not be, but
all right. Well,
the guy on your page, entertainer. I'm used to showing myself, so
you guys can see us walking out of the library in about 15 minutes. All right.
But just some things that were happening last week from our last show until now. Also, shout out to Rochelle Morshaw while we were doing our show. And I think I mentioned it on the last show that it was coming up, but it actually was at the same day. The WHEW, which is WHEW, that's how I spell, but it sounds and stuff, turned 7, Anchored in Love, Rising for Tomorrow. That was at the Pinnacle. That was last Tuesday, August 26th. There was also a writer's workshop in at Point Place Library. That one was held by going to the person's name. It's like all the people. But you know what? That one was held there. I'm looking on the event page. I don't have the exact author. I believe they have a schedule because I know they do those. I believe it's every other Tuesday. But we also have Wednesday, August 27th. There was the real estate code at Entrepreneurship and Real Estate was the event. estate mixer, investing mixer. That was Kamala Brown, and the thing is moving, and Ivan Smith. They held a thing from 6 to 8 p.m. at Toll House. And that was last Wednesday. Last Wednesday also we had Blair Johnson for Toledo. He had a fundraiser at El Típico.
You did that right. Imperial Dragon, I don't know about that, but you did that one right. So we might get some free food there.
Imperial Dragon,
hey, it's all good.
Some messages in the comments and stuff. We'll go send some loves on the page, because that's what this little corner is. It's my tablet, so I could watch y'all over there with a 20-second delay. But that was at 1444 South Avenue in Toledo, Ohio. Also Thursday, lots of things are happening. So I'm going to start off with the River Rocks Creative debuting Not a Rockwell. That was at Wicked Palette Studios in Toledo, Ohio, 151 North Michigan. They had an event. The time was from 6 to 8. A lot of events are from 6 to 8 if you're here from Toledo, working class, 9 to 5, all that good stuff, blue collars. So that was going on. There was also 2 similar but different networking, empowering entrepreneur mixers. One is held weekly at Toll House by Gutter Dave and some other people. And that's a great experience for young professionals. I believe a couple of weeks ago, we had somebody just graduating college, moving back here, trying to figure out what the scene was. We gave her advice there. You're going to get like a questionnaire. So last week was pitching and stuff like that. The week before that, we had a different topic. So we're not just handing out business cards or coming and say, buy something from me. We're sitting down and engaging with you. And there was another mixer, which I believe is held once a month. That is at Noor, which is downtown. I've been to a couple of those. Shout out to Andrew Clausen, I believe. Might say those names wrong, but a lot of stuff, a lot of doing everything. Friday, we had the free framing 2D artwork wood shop at Toledo Museum of Art. And this is all preparing everybody for Art-O-Matic 419, which is coming up September 19th through the 21st. I'm one of the artists. I'm one of the performers. I have a display piece. I see Robin Jones. Shout out to you. She just put up, she's one of the selected artists. So be looking out for those. There are 100 of us over the 3 days of this festival and everything. But that was Friday, the 29th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Toledo Museum of Art. Friday, 29th, the 5th annual Babes Ball at the Summer Games Olympics. This was at the Happy Dog here.
Name that again. What is that?
That was at the Happy Dog. It's a place in Cleveland again. I travel a lot.
Okay.
But Lucas County and surrounding area. I've performed there in Cleveland a few times. I was at 5801 Detroit Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio. It was 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So shout out to you for being in my log of past things. Also, Saturday, August 30th, there was a couple of more events going on. We had the End of Summer Family event out at Ottawa Park.
Yeah.
So that was with Intuition and some bands and some other stuff. There were some bonfires going around. Also, Saturday, I saw Reggie was at one. I think it was like a community bonfire, bonfire event. There was also one of the events that I was a part of. If you saw some of the posts on my page with Sean Kane and everybody else, we had the first soft opening for the Entrepreneurs Club. They're starting a community center over there. They got a boxing ring and everything. We had bouncy houses. We had free food to the public, free information. There are some photos on my page and everything. It was an awesome adventure. And because of that, I also pulled out what me and 8 other artists, well, 7 other artists, I make 8 because I'm the one that wrote the poem in 2020. And that was called Your Chapter Awaits. In lieu of everything that is happening, I just saw that the public library system is, going through profit and funding and all that stuff like a lot of educational systems are, and they're having to close one of their branches. So I thought it a fitting time to bring it up back out. I gave a few posters out. If you come into Mott branch right now or during the week, I just brought the remainders of those because I have maybe 4,000 or 5,000 posters at home. There are 24 by 36 by exceptional artists, and I'm going to keep pushing it. Hopefully we'll get a reunion. We did it during 2020. to encourage kids to continue reading, even though, you know, we were all locked in, isolated, all that
Mm-hmm.
good stuff. So if you come to the library right now, you get your free poster. I did autograph all of these ones. I'm going to try and make it to main branch and a couple of other branches now that school has started, but I also put the call out on my page. If you have a classroom, if you have a community center, let me know and I will bring you a free poster. That is the purpose of these. And then unfortunately, in the era of the dumbing down of society, I want to keep being the pen that keeps writing and making sure all of you guys are out there and engaged. So here's the stuff that's coming up. And then right after this, we will jump into 5 Minutes of Heat, which is a short one. I actually wrote it after I did the East Side Love Day. And so upcoming until we come back, we have this Saturday at 5:30. We are the Taking It to the Streets, Packos at the Park. The place where I formerly worked is not an event center. So if you go to Packos at the Park, it's an event center. Organizations can rent them out and do events there. That is from 5:30 to 8 p.m. It's sponsored by the Salvation Army and it gives proceeds back. It's facing the Faces of Hunger, feeding Northwest Ohio together. Also, shout out to Dr. Dante Moss. I'm scrolling down while doing all my producer stuff, and see, he just got a bun. So welcome to the Bun Club.
Okay, what's a bun when you say he just got a bun?
Well, in Toledo, we have a tradition. Tony Packos, for everything that it is. It started way back in the 60s. Burt Reynolds, he came in. They wanted him to sign the autograph. He didn't have nothing to sign, so he signed a bun. And since then, it's been a tradition. If you come to Toledo, it's kind of like being Toledo famous. You know, we call ourselves, we got bunned, but you get to sign a bun and it goes on the wall. His is at the original location. So he's posting that on his page, and make sure you show Dr. Dante Moss, his flowers and everything, because not many people have those buns. So coming up this Thursday at 6:30. If you haven't heard enough from me about it, Toledo is a film city. So we can get filming credits and tax credits. Movies come to shoot here. One TV series or short series that actually shot here was called The Paper. And there is a community viewing party at One Discovery Way this Thursday at 6:30. I plan to be in attendance. Shout out to Film Toledo and Toledo's talent for doing all the things that make sure movies like this and TV shows and Eeny Meeny, make sure you watch that on Hulu. It came out the 22nd, the movie that we shot at the casino for all of the people that was in there. But that is Thursday at 6:30 p.m. You can RSVP. It is a free ticket. I'm not sure how long the showing is, but if you want to get in the film industry or acting or shorts and stuff like that, this would be one of the places to be at. Friday, we have the 53rd Annual Greek American Festival that is going on at Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox.
That's right downtown.
That's right downtown at 740 North Superior. And that's a festival, you know, just like last week we had the German American Festival, I believe it was. So as the end of summer is wrapping up, the park party in the park.
Yeah.
That's all wrapped up for downtown. But what I did hear from some of my connections that they're going to continue it. So be checking out the downtown Toledo party in the park. I believe they're going to have one at Ostrich Town. The next one is going to be at the brewer. What is that brewer company? Mommy Bay Brewing Company, that is downtown too, right before you get to the high level bridge. So if you go down there, they'll be making the announcements, destinations, Toledo, and all of that stuff going on. Finally, a couple more things, and then we'll get to the 5 minutes of heat. This Saturday at 1 p.m. is Spoken Word in Nature at Toledo Botanical Gardens. I believe Cece or Sea Crystals, she actually has a location downtown, 1 block away from the library. She's putting that on. So if you want to be speaking, if you want to come, if you want to be in nature and paint and everything, it's going to be at 5403 Elmer Drive, Toledo, Ohio, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Spoken Word in Nature. Also this Sunday at 2 p.m. is Herb Wonders at 719 Phillips. That is Respect Your Crown. It's an event going on. Shout out to Sunkiss, who's done a whole bunch of stuff with us on the show. And that, one more thing. Next Monday is September 8th at 6 p.m. is Talking Trash, public input. If you've heard anything about the trash, I believe people have been concerned since our contract is up. This is your chance to get to talk to hopefully some city officials or people involved in that. That is going to be at Sagner Library Branch from 6 to 7:30. Talking Trash, public input meeting at Sagner.
All right, Sanger.
Sanger.
Yeah, that's all. It's all good. I'm not just here to correct you all the time. All right. Hey, listen. Hey, if you like if you like our podcast, we want you to go to YouTube. All right, and click the notification, click subscribe, and also click the bell. That way, whenever we're launching a podcast, you'll be the first on your block to get it. That way, you can like, share, and comment. So subscribe. If you like what we do and want to support us, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. And as soon as Jody, as soon as he comes
Epstein, when the Epstein files come out.
Okay, we're going to be posting on X, formerly known as Twitter. So as soon as Jody gets those files, all right. They said they didn't exist. All right, they said they lost them, but hey. If you want to support us via Cash App, that's the cash tag, CSRN Toledo 419. PayPal is CSRN 419. We have Black Lives Matter signs. As you see in the background, we have our Defund the Police, Defund Toledo Police. That's defund12.org/Toledo, where you can find out about, I think it's the contract and we have a say so in where our money goes. Our sister was just on talking about Lucas County. Hey, they're saying, hey, look, I think that they're not going to suck as bad as they did last year. That's more. Oh man! All right. That makes sense.
We're investing in stuff. We're beginning to lose libraries. We already lost PBS. Mental health is a big thing going on right now. So we can move some of that money from trying to buy a tank or something like that.
Okay. All right. It's
playgrounds. All the good stuff.
Hey, listen, one of the things that we do as we close out, we don't close out with a gavel or ask everybody if they're good. Hey, that's not bad. Are you good? All right, well, let's go home.
That comes with a whole bunch of things.
Okay, yeah, that is true. Okay, so time out on that part, all right. But we close out with creative expression, and we have a way of closing out. We call it 5 minutes of heat. And if you're 50 and over, you might remember a rap group called Houdini, and they had a song called 5 Minutes of Funk. The people in this room would have no idea whatsoever what that means. Put your head down. But we took it and remixed it. So whenever we close out a meeting, there's creative expression, and Jody has been our resident 5 minutes of heat spokesperson for the last 11 years. All right. So man, that's a long time. What do you have for us today?
Today we have a piece that, again, I wrote as I was closing out my night, packing up all my stuff from the East Side Toledo Love Day, and just thinking about things. I got more publications and stuff to go. Hopefully, I did not win for the people that do kind of follow me from there. Unfortunately, thank you to probably about the 19 people that voted for me in the National Spoken Word Awards and stuff. I'm 5-time nominated, but, maybe next year I'll get some more votes, but the results came out. Shout out to DeAndre Hawthorne, better known as Black Ice, for all the things that he's doing there in Chicago and the community surrounding. So this piece is called Find Me, and let's begin. Peace. To find me, you have to search in places people fear. Off the trail, lost in places people hide from. To find me, you might have to open your ears, see more than just with your eyes, and be prepared to be vulnerable with your heart. To find me, you'll have to be willing to be afraid of never being able to go back. To find me, you might have to search in places people fear. Away from known territory and guided by faith alone. To find me, you will have to be brave and willing to stay the course, no matter how long it takes. To find me is to never be lost again, because I am you. To find me, you might have to search in places people fear. In peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. I want to thank you, Jody, for once again coming through with 5 minutes of heat. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else? Peace.